So, how is it going, everyone? Welcome to more Not Another Needle game. And, wait, this thing is a little bit... Oh, there we go. I barely moved it, but whatever. In any case, I think we're close to the end of the game, finally, after almost 70 hours. Apparently we're close, and when I say close, I mean, you know, normally I thought that the floor 19, which is the one that I am right now, will mean that there is 18 floor left, right? But apparently, then again, this is something that the narrator says, so we should probably not believe the narrator, but he says something about how this is the last stage because there is no hard mode for stage 10. But I don't believe him, so that's why the title says apparently close to the end. Because if that's true, that basically means that floor 15 or 16, one of those two, is the last one. Which I really don't think is true. But there is only one way to find out. Although the problem is, in order to find it out, I need to beat this floor. And yesterday I actually checked the replay, right, of my stream. And basically, I've been trying this floor for literally an hour and a half. And I don't know how much it's gonna take me today. But we already have an hour and a half of pure deaths in this floor. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna be able to beat it in a reasonable time. I fear that I won't be able to, but as long as I can at least beat it on this stream, that should be fine. Really hope so. But then again, this floor was one of the hardest in the normal version of the floors, right? The normal floor here, well, it's basically an upside down version of this, and it still was pretty damn hard. So, you know, this one is only natural to be just as hard. Although this one I feel like it's a little bit harder, because I don't remember the normal version of this floor taking me an hour and a half. And you know, an hour and a half is just what the amount of time that I put into this floor so far. So still not the definitive count. But who knows? Maybe I actually will be able to do this. Maybe not. The problem with this is that when I get stuck so much in one specific floor like this one, it's pretty hard to commentate the game because there's barely anything to even commentate here. I mean, everything that I wanted to say about this floor, I already said it. So the best way to commentate about this floor right now is just not commentating about it and just talking about something else. Because there's really nothing that I haven't said about this floor. Although, again, I'm really curious to see if floor 16 is gonna be the last floor, or if, you know, as I initially thought, floor 1 is gonna be the last floor. I don't know. All I know is that this commentator is trash. That's all you need to know. Actually, wait a second. I think there is a way to check that out. There is achievements. Oh, okay. So that means that there is no stage 10 hard, according to the achievements at least. So that should mean that the last stage is gonna be 16. The last floor, I mean. Alright. Yeah, obviously these achievements are impossible for me. Because, well, as you can see, it asks you for getting an S rank in every stage. Yeah, good luck. I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure, right? Yeah, I just contradicted myself, but if I'm not mistaken, the way you get an S rank in levels is by not dying and doing it fast. I'm not sure if it's just not dying or doing it fast or both, but in any case, what I do know is that there is no way for me to actually do it. Like, there's just no way. It's just too hard. Like, it's just incredibly hard. So yeah, I will leave that for the speedrunners. They're really close. It seems that that's the case. Who is it going barking doggy? Yeah, apparently I just checked the achievements page, and there is no achievement for stage 10 on hard, right? So that means that there is no stage 10, which probably means that 16 is the last floor, which is a little bit weird if you ask me, but I'm not complaining at all, because it's been a while. It's been a while since I started playing this, and I really want it to be over, so yeah. If that means that there is 16 less stages, or well, technically 15 less stages in the game, I'm all for it. But yeah. The only problem obviously is that this floor is a pain, and the floor 16 is the one that, if I remember correctly, is like a vertical scrolling floor, right? In the normal version you had to go up, in this one you're obviously going to go down. But that one is the one that I'm the most scared of. I mean, this one is already hard enough, but 16 is probably gonna be a pain in the ass. It's weird that there's no stage 10 hard. Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, it's a pleasant surprise. Although, I really gotta say that it's weird, especially because this game is known for the narrator being a complete shirk, right? So, with that in mind, you will expect that the game will try to make you angry to the most that they can, right? So that's why I'm surprised that there is no stage 10. In fact, not only I'm surprised that there is no stage 10, but I'm surprised there's no stage 11 in hard. Because once you reach floor 1, the game will be like, oh, you thought this was over? Here, have another one. Because that's basically the whole gimmick of this game. The whole gimmick of this game is, oh, you thought you were over with this? Nope. Have more stages. So yeah, I'm definitely surprised that that's the case. Maybe he thought that it will be really predictable, I don't know. And that's like the reason why I took a break from this game. Like when I reached the part where all the floors reverse, I basically took a break because I'm like, nah, I'm not doing all of this again. Well, I ended up doing them all over again, but you know, I think that could be worse. I mean, a lot of the floors in the upside down version, some of them were even easier than the normal version, so I don't know why it's called hard mode. Or maybe it's just the fact that I'm more used to the game, right? Maybe if these floors played at the beginning of the game instead of right now, I probably will struggle a lot more. But yeah. Although I gotta agree that most of the first stage, most of the first floors, like in stage 1 and 2, are definitely harder on the upside down version. But for the rest, I don't know, most of them are not really harder. Or at least that's my experience. But then again, as I said before, it could be because I got used to them. Or like I got used to the controls. Though you also gotta take into account that when you do the upside down version you have no secrets. So that means that a lot of time that you will have wasted in secrets, you don't waste it in secrets. So maybe that's why I feel like I have the impression that the floors are easier when in reality they are probably not. But yeah. This one is definitely one of those where it's definitely harder than the normal version. Nice. So this is a pretty hard jump for me, because you have to double jump, but the double jump has to be really precise. I still haven't done this jump. I mean, well, if I had done this jump, the floor will be over, but yeah, this jump is right now my problem right now. It's just that you have to be really precise. But it's the last jump, so it makes sense that it's gonna be hard. It's the last one. That one water level where you have to go back and forth was super hard on hard mode. The one where you have to go back and forth? You mean the one where the water level rises and lowers? The one that the narrator makes a joke about pirates? Because that one wasn't that bad. I don't remember which one you had to go back and forth. Nice. Wait, it's not over yet. I have to do a short hop here. This short hop, it shouldn't be hard in theory, but there we go, finally. Holy shit. That took a long time. There were like strips of water and an angry block face. Oh yeah, the one with Blocky. Yeah, that one was hard. It was the mini spike hill. But the thing about that floor is that you had a save button on the other side, so you had to do one at a time. So that's why it wasn't that bad. But yeah, it was one of the hardest ones in that stage. Also, this level is Touhou basically, right? Oh, I probably wasn't supposed to fall. Okay. That's fine. I'm a Touhou player. Don't worry about this. And if there's something that Touhou is known for, is the insane amounts of RNG that it has. You know, it's probably still gonna be pretty hard. That's the thing with RNG, right? If you get lucky, you're probably gonna beat it too easy. If you don't, you're gonna have a lot of trouble. But you know, you just gotta wait until you get lucky. Yeah, I know that just wait until you get lucky sometimes it's a lot more than you wish it was, but whatever. Could be worse. Oh, the one with the Otsuho pattern, huh? This one really reminds you of Otsuho. You don't play many shoot 'em ups, so I suck at reading patterns. Yeah, playing shoot 'em ups, especially the ones like Touhou, right? Oh, I fucked up. They make you get used to RNG a lot. And when I say get used to, I mean get used to the bullshit that is RNG. Like, you start getting used to RNG to the point where you don't think it's bullshit anymore, even though it is most of the time. That's fine. You know, it changes, it kind of like changes your mindset, right? You start seeing RNG and you're like, oh, alright, yeah, whatever. Although in reality it is, you know, pretty bullshit sometimes, but that's fine. In any case, me being a Touhou player obviously doesn't mean that I'm gonna beat this in like the second try or first try, right? It's just that I like to joke about it whenever something like this comes up, because it almost makes me feel like I'm good. Almost. But you know, this one is obviously harder than the normal version of this stage, of this floor, I mean, because in this one you have to play with well, platforms. The other one you had the whole floor for yourself. You could run as much as you like. This one you have to stick to the platforms. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Gonna get there eventually. I hope. At least it is like a pretty nice break from hard needle, right? Since this is just dodging there. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that it's not like the definition of needle. This is just dodging patterns while you jump between platforms. So it's not needle, although that doesn't mean that it's not gonna be hard, but you know. Hey AC Borja, how is it going? You came right in time for the Touhou pattern. The Touhou floor of this game. And probably the only section in the game with RNG. And here comes the Otsuho pattern. And here comes my death. Although I gotta say that this one not only is harder because of the platforms, but it's also harder because obviously normally in shoot 'em ups you dodge bullets that come from above. So dodging from below, even if you know the concept is the same, the muscle memory needed for that is definitely not the same. Because instead of looking slightly above your character, here you have to look slightly below your character. This is more Lennon than Touhou. I don't know. It's kind of similar to, you know, that, for example, the level 3 of this attack is pretty similar to Tsuho's, I don't remember the name of the spell card, but it was the second spell card. where she shoots little nuclear bombs that shrink when they approach you. This one is really an Otsuho pattern. Oh, and this one is the one with the tiny fruits. This one might be a pain in the ass. Because, you know, this one was a little bit easy to dodge on the normal floor, because you kinda just needed to move to the right place. This one though, you have to manage yourself with platforms. So yeah, that might be pretty hard to do. That's what you mean about that too, when I saw it growing. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's definitely gonna be hard. So we might get stuck here for a little while. But that's fine. I'm already used to it, and especially if there is no stage 10 on hard, this means that this is the I don't know how to say that in English, but basically the third to last floor in the game. Also, yes, this is complete RNG, this is not static. This is just RNG. Like basically, as I said before, the only place in the game that has RNG. I'm pretty sure that everything else in the rest of the game is complete, you know, static, obviously, because, you know, they are the same floors regardless of what you do. But this one, yeah, it is RNG. And obviously, you need to use the platforms, because dodging this from below is impossible, unless you get extremely lucky, because you can react to what's coming. Like right here, this will be impossible to dodge, especially at that speed. Maybe if it was slower and you did a couple of jumps to anticipate the bullets, it probably will be possible, but yeah, with this speed it's just not. You really gotta utilize the space between platforms, because if you should stick to the platforms, you're probably gonna die. You wouldn't get back up anyways. Yeah, exactly. Even if you somehow beat the whole thing in the bottom, there's no way to reach the warp, so yeah, it's completely pointless. But yeah, we can expect being here for a long time. Maybe I should pretend like I'm fighting Seisha from Touhou 14. You know, Seisha has, I think, 2 spell cards where she fires from below, and you have to dodge them from below, which is something that it's hard just for the fact that normally you wouldn't do it. Normally you dodge in Touhou, or like in any shoot 'em up game, you dodge bullets that come from above, or in case it's an horizontal shooting game, you dodge the ones that come in front of you. But yeah, these ones are coming from below. Oh shit. Oh, I thought I had an additional jump, and I didn't. Well, that's a shame. Yeah, now we are gonna test that possibility of dodging all of this and being here. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. You're here, congratulations, dumbass. Now get to the warp. Oh, you can't. Yeah, good shit. That's a good one. Yeah, I thought that I had an additional jump, but it turns out I think that I drop jump instead of, you know, actually jumping from the platform. I gotta say that that last attack, the level 5, is definitely easier if you could dodge it from below, since the horizontal apples don't go down there, right? But yeah. Ouch! I slipped. I think every random function in shoot 'em up should have boundaries in order to not to make it too random. I know Touhou does it to some extent. Yeah, every game does it to some extent. Obviously, if it had no boundaries, it will just go in any direction. I mean, some of them won't even come near you. Which is the reason why, you know, there is an RNG patch for Touhou 15, right? That RNG patch, a lot of Shunko patterns are easier with the RNG patch, because that makes the bullets completely RNG to the point where some of them don't even come near you. So yeah, obviously every RNG function in shoot 'em ups is you know, bounded by some limit, right? Because yeah, otherwise it wouldn't be even hard. Although obviously, as it is with anything RNG related, it obviously depends on the pattern, right? And the luck you get. If you get lucky, sometimes more RNG is better. You get unlucky, you wish there wasn't any RNG. But, you know, that's just the way it is. And it's pretty interesting, because that's pretty much the reason why a lot of shoot 'em up players or Danmaku players really dislike Touhou. Touhou is a game that, you know, as I said before, it's full of RNG, and most Danmaku games don't have RNG, or at least don't have excessive amount of RNGs. So that's why a lot of shoot 'em up players don't like Touhou, because they should see it as an RNG fest. And obviously most of them like, for example, cave games, right? Like Dodonpachi, Mushihime-sama, you know, all of those, because all of those games are pretty centered around static or aim patterns, right? Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, if you're gonna play something that is insanely hard, you might as well have the guarantee that if you play long enough, you're eventually gonna get good at it without, you know, any gimmick trying to hinder your progress, right? So if you play a game like Mushihime-sama a lot, even if you're not good at shooting games, eventually you're gonna be able to one coin clear it. Sometimes even without much trouble. Because, you know, that game, the patterns are always the same no matter what. I think there are a couple of RNG patterns, but the RNG in those patterns is not the primary thing, right? Also, let me correct something real quick. Oh, I was having some trouble with the upstream right there. That's fine. I just decreased the bitrate. And even if this is a pretty... Well, actually the bitrate in a floor like this is probably important, because of all of the apples flying around, now that I think about it. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea, but then again, I'd rather have low bitrate than constant frame drops, right? But yeah, I was about to say that even the RNG in games like Mushihime-sama, if they are even there, they are not what defines the pattern. They are just like an additional difficulty. But it's not really the definition of the pattern. Oh, I forgot. I think RNG should be mainly used for patterns you macro dodge. When it's micro dodging, you often get wall. Yeah, well, it really depends. I feel like a lot of times RNG is what sometimes keeps the game interesting, right? So, you know, with RNG, obviously you have the problem that every time you play it is something different, and it depends on how lucky you get to be able to beat them, right? But at the same time, it kinda keeps the game refreshing, right? Because no matter how many times you play it, things are gonna be different. Maybe RNG, you know, is not the best way to do that, but then again, it's the only reliable way to get like a different result every time you play something, right? Which is the reason why a lot of games that have procedurally generated things are really popular, right? That's, you know, pretty much it. Touhou was never all about fairness anyways. That's what makes it interesting even after a long time. Yeah, basically you can never fully master a Touhou game, right? I mean, sure, you can be the best at a Touhou game, but you can't really say like, oh, I can beat this every time consistently, right? Even if obviously consistency exists, that consistency most of the time is just, you know, the fact that out of like 10 attempts you get 6 of them, right? So you are consistent on that pattern because you can beat it the majority of times, not necessarily because you're actually consistent, right? Or she helps you get better at certain times of games quicker. Like you say, you can get used to deal with bullshit, therefore you can won clear games that you never played before more quickly. Yeah, it's kind of like, it really helps you like practicing, how should I say it? It's like it really helps you with your reflexes, right? Because if you play something that you know how it is every time and it has no RNG in it, you're probably gonna develop a lot of memorization, right? You're gonna memorize the pattern easily, and it obviously helps for memory. But when it comes to reaction and reflexes, yeah, I feel like RNG helps a lot more. But then again, I understand when people say they don't like RNG. I mean, I sometimes don't like RNG when it's too badly done. I feel like for the most part, special emphasis on for the most part, Touhou has made a good job in making the RNG feel the least bullshit that it can. At least, you know, most of the time. I know that sometimes it is a pain, but some other times, you know, it's not that bad. See, you discover that the game ends sooner than you think. Yeah, I discovered that when I look at the achievements. Also, how is it going, Yomigamis? Yeah, but basically, I saw that the achievement had basically no achievement for the level 10 hard. So that means that, well, there is no level 10 hard. And what that also means is that floor 16 is the last floor. So this means, again, that this floor is the third to last floor. So, yeah, it's interesting. I didn't expect it. I really expected to have, like, the hard levels from, you know, the last 15 levels to be a complete pain in the ass here. But it turns out that there is no hard version for those floors, so I guess I'm safe. But then again, we can't underestimate these 3 last floors. This one in particular is obviously hard just because of the RNG alone. But then you gotta remember floor 16. Floor 16 is definitely something else. Floor 16 was already hard on the normal version, so I can definitely see that it's still gonna be hard on this version, on the upside down version. Nice. Oh, yeah, that level 4 is gonna be really hard. Well, I mean, level 5 is probably gonna be even harder, but level 4, yeah, can be a pain to do. Also, you know, I've been thinking about, you know, my connection and how sometimes it completely gets screwed over. And, you know, a lot of times I blame, you know, the country I live in, but that's not really the case, right? Because, for example, today there was a tournament for Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is a fighting game. And, you know, it was even if it wasn't like a really big major tournament, it was kind of an important tournament, right? And basically the stream got cut off like 8 times, right? And I'm like, holy shit, alright. So if a professional production has this problem in a country that is supposed to be, you know, pretty developed, then I guess I shouldn't blame my country for bad connections. I should just blame the fact that internet infrastructure in the whole world is trash. Except, you know, in some specific countries, right? Some specific countries have really good internet. But, you know, you can count them with only one hand. But yeah. It was, you know, it's not like I'm happy that the stream got cut off 8 times. It's just that, you know, I'm relieved to know that it's not something that only happens here, right? It's something like that can happen to anyone, even to professional productions. So yeah. Dragon Ball FighterZ is a pretty interesting game for anyone that is, you know, for anyone that likes Dragon Ball and fighting games. That game is, you know, oh shit, speaking of bad connections, damn, it's starting to happen again, huh? Well, there you go. That's what happens when you talk about bad connections. You can't talk about bad connections here, because they listen to what you say and they come at your doorstep right away. Damn it. But you know, also the other day I figure out that my ISP sometimes is not even the problem, or it's not like the direct problem. Like sometimes I run a speed test and the speed test is like a 10 out of 10, right? But it turns out that the stream is not a 10 out of 10. So that's definitely something that is on Twitch side, or in the way from my ISP to Twitch, which is even more fucked up because you can't do anything about that. I mean, you can't just complain to your you know, ISP that, hey, your connection to Twitch is bad. Like, that's not how it works, especially with Twitch having Inches servers all over the world, right? It's not like it's something that you can just fix with like a hot fix or, you know, a patch. So yeah. Basically the TLDR version of this rant is that internet sucks. Internet infrastructure sucks. That's what I mean. Start playing Puyo Puyo Tetris and man, people are so good. Matchmaking is shit too, so you get matched with top players, but still. Well, that's pretty much any game that has been around since pretty much forever. I know that Puyo Puyo Tetris is a variant of Tetris. It's not actual Tetris, but any game that has been out for more than, you know, 15 years, I think even 20 years, you're obviously gonna get completely destroyed. No exceptions. I mean, once I tried to... Oh, it's actual Tetris? Oh, well, that makes it even worse. If you try to play Tetris against pros, or, you know, people who just been playing since forever, you're not gonna win. I mean, not right away. That's what I mean. So yeah. Sadly, with those games, unless there is a pretty strong matchmaking mode, you're gonna get destroyed. That's just how it goes. Which is the reason why, you know, there is a game called Null Pomino, right? Which is basically a Tetris game that is completely free for, you know, Windows. I think it's also available on Linux. And that game has network play. But, you know, if you go to NetPlay and you're not at least a professional Tetris player, you're gonna get destroyed. Well, unless the other person tries to hold back. But, you know, you just can't play. You can't. You need to, like, practice for years before you can even stand a chance against people who have been playing since forever. Oh, I fucked up. I got matched against a worldwide top Tetris on my first game. On your third game? Yeah, well, basically that's the thing, right? A lot of people who still play Tetris, because let's be real, Tetris is a game that is literally 30 years old, right? So obviously people that play Tetris have been playing it for a pretty long time. And for those people who still play such an old game, obviously new players won't stand a chance. And when new players don't stand a chance, obviously they get frustrated because they are like, wow, alright, what can I do now, right? It's just impossible. So they, most of the time, just end up quitting. And that basically means no new players. And no new players means that the only players that you're going to play as a new player are old players. And if, well, you already know how the rest goes, right? But yeah, you can't do much. That happens with any game, not just Tetris. Any game that is old enough where there is still people playing it after years. Any player that is new, unless they practice or unless they have people that are still as new as them, they're just gonna struggle a lot. and most of the time that struggle is enough for make them quit. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's how it works. Which is the reason why, you know, a lot of people hop into new games regardless of the genre, right? Like, let's say that a new Call of Duty comes out. A lot of people don't really give that much of a shit about Call of Duty, but people that are competitive just wanna play it because everyone is gonna be playing there and everyone is gonna be more or less on equal foot. There's obviously gonna be people that are really good at FPS games, so they are probably gonna have an advantage, but for the most part, there are new players everywhere. So that means that you can have fun playing against people that are just as bad as you. Modern Tetris is only 10 years old though. I found 3 new players in 100 games. Still was pretty fun playing against good players, except those 2 white combo because this shit is stupid. Yeah, but you know, it's just how it is. Obviously, games like chess still have a pretty long, like a pretty big, I mean, pool of players, including new players, because the thing about chess is that it's one of the only games in the world where you need no execution. When I say no execution, it means that you don't need any physical skill or any reaction or, you know, anything that could be counted as a purely physical skill, right? It's all about outsmarting your opponent. So that means that anyone can play it. Anyone that is willing to play it can play it without trouble. So that means that obviously, even if there are old players that are really good at the game, there's always gonna be new players because it's just so easy to pick up. Tetris, on the other hand, I really don't see new players that are like 40 years old playing Tetris, right? Like, you won't see a 40-year-old person new to Tetris trying to compete on Tetris. That's just not how it works. So that means that, I mean, the age was just an example, but that means that a lot of people are already getting discouraged just because you really can't do much physically. Like, your fingers are not fast enough, your reactions are not fast enough, and that basically has nothing to do with being smart. It has to do with practicing a lot, and obviously a lot of people don't have times in their lives to do that, right? 4 white combo is so OP, most top players just won't play it because it makes everything bland. What's a 4 white combo? Is it like having 4 Tetris in a row or what? Although I don't think you can get 4 Tetris in a row, right? You leave 4 rows empty and fill the rest. Usually in the middle. What? Then throw everything in and make a 10+ combo. I didn't know that. I probably should look it up. But yeah, well, that definitely depends on how the game handles combos, right? If you have a game where you combo and that gives the other player a lot of trash blocks, then, well, I mean, that's kind of like the fault of the I don't know if I should say that it's the fault of the game, but I mean, that's something that can be easily fixed if you choose, you know, nerf combos, right? Although that will depend on if the community really wants combos getting nerfed or not. If they are okay with it, then I guess nothing can be done, right? Oh fuck. Basically you clear tons of row really fast and then the other one can do much except if he's a top pro, and even top pros struggle. It's pretty common for a normal player to beat a pro with 4 wide. You know, I don't know if that's what happened, but I remember when I played Tetris 99, there were some people, obviously you couldn't see them play because as the name suggests, you play against other 98 players. So I'm not sure about this, but maybe that's why sometimes when one of the players attacked me, I just couldn't defend no matter how good I tried to play. But I'm not sure. I don't know. Then again, I'm not a good Tetris player, so it might be just that I'm trash. That's probably the case, honestly. Oh, that's a shame. I almost got it. He can also clear garbage pretty easily. Well, probably. Clear garbage pretty easily if you do Tetris and he has 4 rows in the middle free. Basically give him a free Tetris. Yeah, that's what I noticed too. A lot of the trash blocks basically leave the opponent open for making Tetris, which means that, well, obviously they have an advantage even when you're attacking. Like, it's the perfect counter attack. So yeah, it's pretty tough. But then again, I will, blame more the game than, the players being good versus being bad, right? It's kind of like, for example, in a fighting game, picking a character that is OP, right? I mean, if the character really is good, like let's say for example Sagat, right? Sagat in Street Fighter 2 Turbo, all Sagat. That character can basically destroy most of the characters in the game easily, because he can just spam fireballs as if it was nobody's business, right? So in that case, it's not that one player is clearly better than the other one, it's just that the characters are too unbalanced, right? So in that case, the fault is the game's fault, right? Obviously, a game like Street Fighter 2 Turbo, you can't patch them anymore because it's literally a game that is 25 years old, even maybe older. I don't remember exactly when it was released, but yeah, for those games you either deal with it or you should stop playing. Damn. Beautiful frame rate that I'm getting right here. Holy shit. Alright, hold on a little bit until it comes back. Hold on. Damn it. What the hell are you doing right now? This is so bad I can't even believe it. This is really nothing you can do much about. Even decreasing the bitrate won't help. Holy shit, dude. It always happens around this time. Like around 10 PM, which is, the local time. This is what usually happens. Like my internet just completely goes to the trash. So maybe I should choose avoid streaming at this time, because this is embarrassing. Alright. Dang. This is terrible. Yeah, it usually happens at this time of the day. This is when it usually goes to trash, and then it fixes itself. it fixes itself just because. I really don't get what's the deal with this, but it just happens. And when it happens, I just gotta take the L. Yeah. Alright, seems that we are back now. Although I don't even know why I even bother like restarting the stream. I know that restarting doesn't do anything, but you know, sometimes I really wish it did something. But yeah, damn it, that's such a shame. Such a shame when this happens, because again, I can't do anything about it. I can only complain, and yeah. Anyways, I guess I'm gonna keep trying. But yeah, sometimes when it does happen, I really can't even play. Because if I play, obviously what I do is gonna get completely butchered, right? It's gonna get out of the stream. Maybe I should try to stream earlier, because this always happens at this time of the day. At this specific time of the day, this always happens. For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a peak hour, and obviously peak hours means that there's more network traffic. More network traffic means that, well, a lot of what I do is gonna get clogged up in that traffic. Still, I'm still having frame drops, by the way. So yeah, I can't do anything, sorry. I just can't do anything. I'm gonna keep going because, like, it's either this or nothing. Although, I guess sometimes it would be better if there was nothing aside from, you know, this. This is just embarrassing. I mean, it makes me embarrassed to stream with this poor quality. But I can't do shit. I mean, it's way out of my control. And I think that this is something that is so out of my control that I think that even changing ISPs will be completely useless at this point. It will come back eventually. Yeah, that's a pretty positive way of looking at it, but yeah, it's just gonna be awful all around. Maybe I could instead... Damn it, that's just insane. It's so bad. What I'm curious about is if I stream on you know, normal latency mode, right? Because right now I'm streaming on low latency. Low latency means that I can stream and I can immediately read chat, right? Whatever chat says, I can read almost immediately as they post it. Maybe if I turn that off, it will be better. I have no idea, because I've been streaming like this for a long time. I never really bothered checking it, but maybe I should try that. Because it seems that it might solve it. I mean, after all, why would Twitch let you pick between those two, right? Although I don't think I can do it right now. It has to be something that probably requires to restart the stream. But I think it will help. It is low latency mode. Can I change it? Okay, I changed it. I made normal latency now. Let's see if this helps. I don't want the article. Keep the article. Okay. So if you had some buffering, I will suggest you to pause the stream and afterwards unpause it, or well, refresh the page, whatever you like the most. No, low latency in Twitch. Low latency basically means that everything that I do in low latency is immediately streamed, right? So whenever I read chat, I can almost immediately read it, right? So yeah, that's indeed what's the case. But doing that apparently can have some problem in this, in streaming, although I don't really think that's the case because I'm having trouble regardless. Damn it. No, so that doesn't solve anything. Unless it requires a hard restart, I don't think that solves anything. What I do know and what I'm sure of is that this is Twitch's fault. Because the OBS low latency is useless. Wait, does OBS have low latency? Where? Where is that option? Maybe... I have no clue. So there is a low latency option. In advance, or I will have to check it out later. Yeah, I'm truly sorry, but again, just in case I didn't repeat it enough, it's something that is totally out of my control. And it's such a shame. This is like the end of the game. The end of the game and my connection. Sorry, I can't really blame my internet now. My connection won't even give me the time of the day. Yeah, I think the solution for this is probably gonna be streaming earlier, because this shit always happens at this time. It's always at this time that this happens. I'm pretty sure that if I stream late in the night this wouldn't happen, and if I stream this earlier this also wouldn't happen. It's just this shitty time period. 10 PM is when it happens. You know what, whatever, I'm just gonna keep going. I don't give a shit. If it was something that I could solve by myself, I will care. But it's something that I can't solve, so I don't... No matter how much I care, there's nothing I can do. So yeah. Pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah, this is what happens when Twitch doesn't invest in South American quality servers. Basically, the ancient servers in South America are pretty much Brazil, and that's it. There's only Brazilian server. Oh. Okay. Well, at least I got close enough. That's something. Jesus, dude. He is going overboard. The worst part about